we're ready to get started. Okay, thank you everyone for coming. This is the semifinal round. We have ACSA versus DAAB. All right, we're gonna check the buzzers. ACSA, please. Great, thank you. Okay. Spokesperson, thank you. Thank you, welcome, good luck. Remember, the answer must be started before the time limit. The answer must be given in its entirety before the end of the round signal. Nothing spoken after the signal will be accepted. A reminder to our large audience, welcome. A reminder to the audience, you are not allowed to help players in any way. Applauding and talking are not appropriate. Please respect the competitor's need for concentrating. Please also take this opportunity to check your phones and make sure that they are silent. Thank you. Best of luck to both teams. Scorekeepers? Good, good. Timers? Okay, here we go. Toss up. Meteorology. These are regional names for what kind of meteorological phenomena? Khamsin in Egypt.
Sandstorm?
Incorrect. These are regional names for what kind of meteorological phenomena? Khamsin in Egypt, Levanter on the Mediterranean, Bora around the Adriatic, Simoom in the Mideast, and Pampero in Argentina.
Volcanic eruption.
Incorrect. Winds. Toss-up. Vacation deaths. In 2019, counterfeit alcohol was blamed for at least 10 deaths on what country occupying the eastern part of Hispaniola?
Portugal.
Incorrect.
The Dominican Republic.
That's correct. Bonus. Historical figures. These people are paired with what kind of nicknames? Kamehameha I, Napoleon of the Pacific. Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen. Genghis Khan, the Accursed. Harold III, Hammer of the North. Louis XV, First Gentleman of Europe.
Monarchs?
The correct answer is sobriquets. Toss up. After images. If you stare at a green image for several seconds and look at a white background, what color?
Red.
Red is correct. Bonus. Elements. The name for what element literally means water forming?
Hydrogen.
Correct. Toss up. Sparta. What adjective derived from the name of the Spartan capital city means to speak tersely and concisely?
Curtly.
Incorrect.
Bluntly.
Incorrect. Laconic. Toss up. Swindling. What term for a confidence game sounds much like the name?
Con.
Incorrect. What term for a confidence game sounds much like the name for a narrow bed?
Caught?
Bunko. Toss up. Letters. Name the special pairs of letters in these words. Whale. Hatch. Pluck.
Diphthong.
Incorrect. Name the special pairs of letters in these words. Whale. Hatch. Pluck. Phonics. Knock. Wreck.
Compound sounds.
Incorrect. Digraphs. Toss up. Chromosomes. What can you say about any person with two X?
They are female.
That's correct. Bonus. Greek literature. What tree in Homer's Odyssey bore a fruit that was the only food of the Lotophagi and caused people to forget about their native land, families, and friends?
The lotus tree.
That's correct. Toss-up. Complete this passage by Richard Lamb illustrating parallel structure. Christmas is the time when kids tell Santa what they want and adults pay for it. Deficits are when adults tell the government what they...
And the government pays for it.
Incorrect. Complete this passage by Richard Lamb illustrating parallel structure. Christmas is the time when kids tell Santa what they want and adults pay for it. Deficits are when the adults tell the government what they want and their kids
Pay for it.
correct. Bonus, wildlife. While grazers primarily consume grass, what herbivores also feed on shoots, shrubs, leaves, and fruit? Time, the answer is browsers. Toss-up. Literature, history. These works are associated with what island? Bandanaba Saga, Gunners Saga, Alta.
Ireland.
Incorrect. These works are associated with what island? Bandanaba Saga, Gunners Saga, Alta Saga, Laurentius Saga, Vigunder Saga, and Iriviga Saga.
Easter Island.
Incorrect. Iceland. Toss-up. Glaciers. What extremely fine, powdery sediment produced in glaciers can give a turquoise color to the waters below them?
Copper nitrate.
Incorrect.
Silt.
Incorrect. Rock flour. Toss-up. Zoology. What kind of animals are catadromous, diadromous, or...
Camels.
Incorrect. What kind of animals are catadromous, diadromous, or anadromous?
Birds.
Incorrect. Fish. Toss-up. Accounting. In business, what is the collective term for payments owed to suppliers, banks, loans, leases?
Debt.
Incorrect. In business, what is the collective term for payments owed to suppliers, bank loans, leases, income taxes payable, and wages payable?
Salary.
Incorrect. Liabilities. Toss-up. Triangles. One side of a triangle is twice the second, and the third side is 20 meters less than 3 times the second. What is the length of the longest side?
Alfred Axel.
Incorrect. One side of the triangle is twice the second, and the third side is 20 meters less than 3 times the second. What is the length of the longest side if its perimeter is 106 meters? Incorrect. 43 meters. Toss-up. Hazardous islands. A 2019 study revealed that the enduring radiation levels from nuclear tests in the 1950s on what atoll in the Marshall?
Alfred Ira.
That's correct. Bonus. Victories. Reminiscent of an ancient Greek king of Epirus, what is the name for the type of victory that inflicts such a toll on the victor that is tantamount to defeat?
Parisian.
It's a Pyrrhic victory. Toss up. Pipe problems. You have a 46-foot piece of pipe cut into two pieces, such that one piece is to be 1 foot longer than twice the length of the shorter piece. What will be the length of the longer piece?
$31.
That's correct. Bonus, venoms. The three main types of snake venoms are cytotoxins, hemotoxins, and what other?
Neurotoxins.
Correct. Toss up. Elements. What soft, highly reactive metallic element used in treating depression and bipolar
Sodium.
Incorrect. What soft, highly reactive metallic element used in treating depression and bipolar disorder is also essential in recharging batteries, aluminum alloys, and certain glass ceramics?
Lithium.
Lithium's correct. Bonus. Nitrates. What nitrate is used in agriculture as a high nitrogen fertilizer and in explosives such as ANFO?
Ammonia.
Be more specific.
Ammonium nitrate.
Correct. Toss up. Diatrophism. While the Rocky Mountains are examples of fold mountains, what kind of mountains are America's?
Fault.
Be more specific.
Fault mountains.
Be more specific.
Fault mountain ranges.
Incorrect. While the Rocky Mountains are examples of fold mountains, what kind of mountains are America's Sierra Nevadas or Germany's Harz Mountains?
Fault line mountains.
Incorrect. Fault block mountains. Okay, toss up. These are among the engagements of what 4th century BC military leader? The Balkan Campaign,
Emperor Constantine.
incorrect. These are among the engagements of what 4th century BC military leader? The Balkan Campaign, the Battle of Granicus River, the Siege of Halicarnassus, the Siege of Tyre, the Siege of Giza, and the Battle of Gaugamela.
Hannibal.
Incorrect. Alexander the Great. Toss up. Modular multiplication. In mod 15, what is the product of 6 and 10?
Zero.
That's correct. Bonus. Ocean habits. In what ocean are most hadal habitats located?
Twilight Zone.
Incorrect. It's the Pacific Ocean. Okay. Toss-up. Invasions. Around 1223, Kievan Rus was invaded by what people?
The Mongols.
That's correct. Bonus probability. If two squares are chosen at random on a checkerboard, what is the probability that they have a side in common?
Uh, 1/4.
Incorrect. 1 in 18. Toss-up. Engineering. What kind of engineering routinely applies to these processes? Genome sequencing.
Genetic engineering.
That's correct. Bonus. Botany. Heath is another term for what low-growing Eurasian shrub. Heath is another term for what low-growing Eurasian shrub with a small evergreen leaves and small bell-shaped flowers.
Clovers.
Incorrect. Heather. Toss-up. Biology. Rhyming with gardeners and hardeners, what is a term for organisms that belong with the same taxonomic?
gardeners,
Can you say it again, please?
gardeners,
Incorrect. Rhyming with gardeners and hardeners, what is the term for organisms that belong within the same taxonomic genus?
Pardoners.
Incorrect. Congeners. All right. Toss up. Ocean. Extending from depths of about 200 meters to the ocean floor, what deep zone is?
benthic,
Incorrect. Extending from depths of about 200 meters.
Hededal zone.
Sorry?
Hededal zone.
Incorrect. A photic zone. Toss up. Gladiators. These are different types of gladiators in ancient Rome. The Myrmilones fought with swords and shields. The Essidari battled from chariots.
Lions.
Incorrect. These are different types of gladiators in ancient Rome. The Myrmilones fought with swords and shields. The Essidari battled from chariots. The Retiarius were armed with a trident and a net. How did the Equites enter gladiatorial arenas?
need a timer.
A volunteer, please.
All right, spokesperson for each team, please raise your hand. All right. Remember, the answer must be started before the time limit. The answer must be given in its entirety before the end of the round signal. Nothing spoken after the signal will be accepted. A reminder to the audience, you're not allowed to help the players in any way. Applauding and talking are not appropriate. Please respect the competitors' need for concentrating. Best of luck to both teams. We're waiting for the time. Timer's ready. Scorer's ready. Best of luck to both teams. Toss-up, integer products. Determine the largest possible product of two odd integers that have a sum of 32.
$255.
Correct for 5. Bonus, vision problems. In relation to color blindness, what photoreceptors in the retina fail to function properly?
Cones.
Correct for 2. Toss-up, offenses. In military law, what punishable crime often resulting from fear may include desertion,
Dismissal.
incorrect.
Please finish. Please finish.
Offenses. In military law, what punishable crime often resulting from fear may include desertion in the face of the enemy, surrendering against orders, or refusing to obey orders when foes lurk nearby?
Disobedience.
Incorrect. Cowardice. Toss-up. Andersen stories. In what fairy tale by Hans Christian Andersen does a queen have a young girl sleep atop 20?
The Princess and the Pea.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Latin America. If you were cycling from Colombia to Costa Rica, you would have to pass through what other country?
Panama.
Correct for 2. Toss-up. Forecast. What period of time is indicated in this excerpt from a weather forecast? The snow level is going to fluctuate diurnally.
Winter.
Incorrect.
Every 2 years.
Incorrect. Daily. Toss-up. Ornithology. These are what kind of birds? Fantail, poulter.
Hawks.
Incorrect. These are what kind of birds? Fantail, poulter, tumbler, cropper, carrier, homing.
Crows.
Incorrect. Pigeons. Toss-up. Fuels. Ethanol burns to produce water and what gas?
Carbon dioxide.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Contrary symptoms. Paradoxical reports by EMTs include the patient was alert and unresponsive and his skin was moist and wet.
Dry.
Correct for 2. Toss-up. Politics. Rhyming with a term that means to put something underwater. What political term can indicate any actions?
Submerge.
Incorrect. Rhyming with a term that means to put something underwater, what political term can indicate any actions designed to undermine the military, the economics, or the psychological morale of a governing authority?
Cut down.
Incorrect. Subversion. Toss-up. Empires. What pre-Columbian civilization arose in the Peruvian highlands?
The Inca Empire.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Organs. What organs contain all the components of the bronchial tree beyond the primary bronchi?
Lungs.
Correct for 2. Toss-up. Demonyms. What 3 letters end the demonyms for a person living in such places as El Salvador, Gambia,
IAN.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Electricity. What kind of electricity is an imbalance of electric charges within or on the surface of a material?
Static.
Correct for 2. Toss-up. Colors. On an alphabetical list of the secondary colors, which is last?
Purple.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Invasions. In 1950, Chinese military forces crossed the Yangtze River and invaded what historical region high in the Himalayas?
Tibet.
Correct for 2. Toss-up. Circulatory system. Name the little arterial branches.
Capillaries.
Incorrect. Name the little arterial branches that deliver blood to capillary networks.
I refer to Sasha.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Tide measurement. Tides as high as 52 feet, or about how many whole meters, occur at the Bay of Fundy?
$60 meters.
Correct for 2. Toss-up. Peninsular cities. These historical Latin American cities were on what peninsula? Mayapan.
Please finish.
These historical Latin American cities were on what peninsula? Mayapan, Uxmal, Campeche, Chichen Itza.
I refer to Ahmed.
Incorrect. Yucatan Peninsula. Toss-up. Lunar ballistics. If you fire a rifle bullet horizontally while standing on the moon, it will go about how many times farther than it would if fired on the Earth's?
Six times.
Correct. For 5.
Skip wonders, please.
Toss-up. Battling averages. One baseball season, Superman got hit every time he was at bat. If he was up 83 times, what was his batting average?
Zero.
Incorrect.
1,000.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Skeletons. While insects have exoskeletons, what kind of skeletons do bovines and canines have?
Endoskeletons.
Correct for 2. Toss-up. Art. What category of arts includes magic, mime, puppetry?
Performing arts.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Cities abroad. These are cities in what European countries? St. Moritz, Lausanne, Zermatt, Luzern, Bern, Lugano, Basel.
Switzerland.
Correct for 2. Toss-up. Water treatment. The use of ozone in water treatment plants is now often replacing the use of what halogen?
Chlorine.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Political malapropisms. What term should a former U.S. president have used when he said this? We cannot let terrorists and rogue nations hold this nation hostile.
Hostage.
Correct for 2. Toss-up, bacterial multiplication. For a certain bacterium that divides every 50 minutes, how many generations could result in 25 hours?
100.
Incorrect. Correct for 5. Bonus, cathedrals, literally meaning Our Lady. What is the French name for the famous cathedral in Paris, recently damaged by fire?
Notre Dame.
Correct for 2. Toss-up. Myths and mountain ranges. One myth says that when Perseus showed him the head of Medusa, the Titan turned into stone and became what mountain range? One myth said that when Perseus showed him the head of Medusa, the Titan turned into stone and became what mountain range in northwest Africa?
Atlas Mountains.
Correct. for
Give
5.
bonus, please.
Toss-up. Ivy. What structures on ivy invade every available crack and cranny in a wall to provide? What structures on ivy invade every available crack and cranny in a wall to provide support for the growing plant?
Weeds.
Incorrect. Toss-up. Fluids. What body fluids are indicated by the adjective lacrimal?
Milk.
Incorrect.
Please finish.
That was it.
Please repeat out over time.
What body fluids are indicated by the adjective lacrimal?
Tears.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Big rocks. Caves in what massive rock on the Iberian Peninsula have been inhabited or used since antiquity by Neanderthals, the Phoenicians, the Carthaginians, the Romans, the Spanish, the Muslims, and the British?
Rock of Gibraltar.
Correct for 2. Toss-up. Elements. At room temperature, these elements are in what phase?
Gas.
Correct for 5.
Give bonus.
Toss-up. Averages. At a toll booth one afternoon, 57 cars had 4 people, 61 cars had 2 people, 9 had 1 person, and 5 had 5 people. What was the average number?
Please finish.
At a toll booth one afternoon, 57 cars had 4 people, 61 cars had 2 people, 9 had 1 person, and 5 had 5 people. What was the average number of people per car?
Three.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Superscripts. What superscript is used to indicate the cube of a number? Bonus.
3.
Correct for 2. Toss-up. Magnitude. 696. I can't do the number. 696,100 is how many orders of magnitude larger than 69.61?
4.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Fields of science. These are basic principles in what field of science? Cross-cutting relationships, faunal succession, superposition, original horizontality, uniformitarianism.
Physics.
Incorrect. Geology. Toss-up. Legal homonyms. Spell the homonym meaning defendants answers to charges and arraignments. That sounds just like the polite adverb used when you ask somebody to do something for you.
Favor.
Incorrect.
Please repeat.
Spell the homonym meaning defendant's answers to charges and arraignments that sounds just like the polite acronym.
Plead.
Incorrect. It's Pleas. Toss-up. Verbs. What is the phrasal verb in this advice from Will Rogers? Don't let yesterday use up too much of today.
Use.
Incorrect.
Please repeat.
On your own time. What is the phrasal verb in this advice from Will Rogers? Don't let yesterday use up too much of today.
Let.
Incorrect. It's use up. Toss-up. Lunar landings. In 2019, what country became the first to have a spacecraft?
China.
Correct. 5.
Skip bonus.
Toss-up. Homonyms. What verb meaning to provide a shelter for a criminal is also What verb meaning to provide a shelter for a criminal is also used as a noun for a safe place for ships to anchor?
Harbor.
Correct. Bonus. Seismology. P and S waves are of special interest to seismologists. What do these letters stand? For what do these letters stand?
between ACSB and ACSA, otherwise known as our juniors team versus our seniors team. A reminder to players, the answer must be started before the time limit. The answer must be given in its entirety before the end of the round signal. Nothing spoken after the signal will be accepted. A reminder to the audience, we're very pleased today to see that we have some students from ABA come and join us. Thank you very much for coming. DAA, my apologies. Thanks, DAA. Please note that the audience is not allowed to help the players in any way. Applauding and talking are not appropriate. And please also remember that the players need to concentrate. We'll ask that you turn your phones off and that you do not talk or chit-chat with one another. If you feel that you need to be on your phone or you need to talk to somebody, I recommend that perhaps you take your leave right now. If you would like to stay and watch the game, we thank you and are happy that you're here for it. Emery, can you just do a mic check, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And thank you. Scorekeeper, are you ready? And timer, are you ready? Yeah. Okay. May the best team win. Toss-up. Military history. With a term sounding like that of a large arthropod, apes, these men are all remembered as what?
Monarch.
Incorrect. With a term sounding like that of a large anthropoid, apes, these men are all remembered as what? Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Michael Collins, Che Guevara, Menachem Begin, Pancho Villa, Giuseppe Garibaldi.
Dictators.
Gorillas is the answer. Toss-up, modified quotations. What British author wrote the original line parodied in this modern version? The email of the species is more deadly than the male.
Charles Dickens.
That is incorrect.
Jane Austen.
Rudyard Kipling. Toss-up, anagrams. What female British novelist's name is presented in these anagrams? Cat on her blotter, Let No Brother Act, Betrothed to Lancer.
Margaret Atwood.
Team A?
Charlotte Bronte.
Correct for 5. Bonus, plate tectonics. The island of Sicily is located near to where what two continental plates are colliding.
The North African and Eurasian plates.
That is correct for 2. Toss-up, means. Insert 4 geometric means between 5 and 1,215. Team B?
$25, $125, and $625.
Sorry, that's incorrect. 15, 45, 135, and 405. Toss-up, cognates. You must do what to turn these English words into their Spanish cognates? Speciality, fidelity?
Change TY to DAD.
Correct for 5. Bonus, early text. In the 9th century, Al-Khwarizmi wrote wrote the compendious book on calculation by completion and balancing, a text on what field of math?
Calculus.
Algebra is the answer. Toss-up sociology, originally referring to dominance and submission among caged chickens. What phrase has come?
Pecking order.
Correct for 5. Bonus, phonetics. Name the symbol for these vowel sounds. The A in durable, the U in focus, the Y in vinyl.
Long.
It's called the schwa sound. Toss-up, inelastic collisions. Prior to the bite, a big shark is swimming straight at 5 kilometers per hour, while a little unsuspecting fish is motionless. If the mass of the shark is 4 times the mass of the little fish, what is the combined velocity of both fish?
Four kilometers per hour.
That is correct. For 5, bonus, natural resources. Millions of years ago, dead aquatic phytoplankton and zooplankton accumulated and were buried beneath deep sediments. The resulting high pressures and temperatures caused that material to become chemically altered to produce what waxy material found in oil shale.
Agar.
Keratin is the answer. Toss-up, ranching. Name the loose fold of skin that hangs from the neck of...
Wattle.
That's incorrect. Name the loose fold of skin that hangs from the neck of many vertebrates, including moose, some dogs, and cattle breeds.
Adam's apple.
Dewlap, it's called. Toss-up, communication. These are letter equivalents in what communication system? N equals LH low and RH low.
The NATO phonetic alphabet.
Incorrect. These are letter equivalents in what communication system? N equals LH low and RH low. R equals LH out and RH out. Y equals LH out and RH high.
American Sign Language.
Semaphore. Toss-up, feuds, rhyming with operetta. What is another term for a blood feud or any multi...
Vendetta.
Correct for 5. Bonus, baseball. If a pitcher had an earned run average of 1.89 after pitching 38 innings, how many runs did he give up?
$71.82.
Says 8 here. Toss-up, exponents. For any value of x greater than 1, what does this expression equal? 3 times x to the 4th?
Infinity.
Incorrect. For any value of x greater than 1, what does this expression equal? 3 times x to the 4th divided by 3 times x to the 6th.
X to the negative second.
The answer here says 1 over x squared. Toss-up, earthquake geography.
We'd like to challenge.
Stop the clock, please. Your answer was?
X to the negative second. Second.
Thank you. We can resume play. Thank you very much. Toss-up. Earthquake geography. In 2015, Nepal and especially a region around what capital city?
Kathmandu.
It's correct for 5. Bonus, ancient oceans. During the Paleozoic-Mesozoic transition, what ocean occupied nearly 70% of the Earth's surface?
The Pacific Ocean.
Panthalassa is the answer here. Toss-up, drama. These are examples of what kind of theater? The firebugs, ping pong, rhinoceros, no exit, waiting for Godot.
Melodrama.
Absurdist theater.
That is correct for 5. Bonus, India history. With what word did the native people formally address a European man during the period of British rule in colonial India?
Anglaise.
Sahib is the answer. Toss-up, theories. Also called autogenesis. What is another term for the natural
Evolution.
Incorrect. Also called autogenesis or autogenesis, what is another term for the natural process by which life arises from non-living matter, with simple organic compounds eventually developing into organisms?
Spontaneous creation.
Abiogenesis. Toss-up, theories. What is the collective name for these kinds of theories? Israel.
Conspiracy theories.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Paradoxes. The speculation that if 2 offspring were born at the same birth and one of them went on a high-speed rocket trip into outer space and back, the one who remained on Earth would age more. This is called what paradox?
The sibling paradox.
Incorrect. It's the twin paradox. Toss-up, disasters. In 2019, a lawsuit was filed against the city of Paris over health threats resulting from a devastating fire that melted.
Notre Dame.
Correct for 5. Bonus, novel settings. These novels are set in what city? Angels and Demons, The Shoes of the Fisherman, White Smoke, Eminence.
Rome.
Vatican City. Toss-up, linguistics. Irish, Scottish, Gaelic, Welsh, and Breton developed from what language?
Celtic.
Is correct for 5. Bonus, Russian history. All rulers of Muscovy were called Grand Princes until 1547, when who was crowned as the first Russian Tsar?
Alexander.
Ivan the Terrible. Toss-up, sound. What property of a sound decreases as reverberation continues?
Fidelity.
Incorrect. I finished the question.
Volume.
That is correct for 5. Bonus, property valuation. How much tax is due on property assessed at $260,000 if the tax rate is 15 mils per dollar?
$39,000.
Correct for 2. Toss-up, hospitals. On the door to what ward in a hospital was this sign actually posted? Push, push.
Maternity ward.
That is correct for 5. Bonus, drainages. Switzerland is drained to the North Sea by the Rhine, to the Mediterranean by the Rhone, to the Adriatic by the Po, and to the Black Sea by what other river?
The Euphrates.
The The Danube is the answer. Toss-up. Electrolytes. What is the term for the separation of an electrolyte?
Electrolysis.
Incorrect. What is the term for the separation of an electrolyte into ions of opposite charge?
Polarization.
Dissociation. Toss-up. Tomato history. Tomatoes were long regarded as poisonous because many Europeans
Water.
Incorrect. Tomatoes were long regarded as poisonous because many Europeans died after eating them. Actually, those deaths resulted from a poisonous element being leached from the plates by the acid in the tomatoes, used in the days of old imputer tableware. Name that metal with the chemical symbol Pb.
Lead.
Correct.
We'd like to skip a
Five.
bonus.
Skip bonus. Life forms. Toss-up. What is the collective name for organisms that can thrive in intense heat?
Extremophiles.
Correct. For 5. Bonus. Relations. What is the domain of this relation? 0, 2, 3, 4, -3, -2, and 2, 4.
-3 to 3.
Can you be more specific? No, that's incorrect. It says 0, 3, -3, and 4. So, sorry. Okay, toss-up. Castles. The medieval Warwick Castle was built by what British king?
William the Conqueror.
Correct.
We'd like to skip a bonus.
5. Toss-up. Skip the bonus. Phase transitions. Water vapor can transform directly into ice without becoming...
Sublimation.
Incorrect. Water vapor can transform directly into ice without becoming a liquid when it contacts a sub-freezing surface. This type of phase transition is called what?
Dehydration.
Very close. Deposition. Toss-up. Government agencies. The Savak was to Iran what agency was to the German Democratic
Israel.
Republic?
Taxidermy.
Correct for 2. Toss-up, chemicals in the kitchen. Sodium nitrite, sulfur dioxide, ascorbic acid, and potassium nitrate are among the compounds added to prevent microbial growth or undesirable chemical changes in food. How are
Mold.
incorrect? Sodium nitrite, sulfur dioxide, ascorbic acid, and potassium nitrate are among the compounds added to prevent microbial growth or undesirable chemical changes in food. How are these additives collectively known?
Preservatives.
Correct for 5. Bonus, poems. What is the last word in this verse by Robert Herrick? Gather ye rosebuds while you may, old time is still flying, and the same flower that smiles today, tomorrow will be...
Dying.
Correct for 2. Toss-up, peninsular capitals. What is the westernmost capital city on the Iberian Peninsula?
Lisbon.
Correct for 5. Bonus, massacres. In 1972, 11 members of what country's Olympic team were killed by Black September terrorists in Munich?
Israel.
Correct for 2. Toss-up, heavenly bodies. Some estimates that there are 566,000 asteroids in our solar system. That is how many times greater than the number of planets?
Um, 70,750.
Correct for 5. Bonus, transportation tales. Santa's sleigh and a witch's broom are similar in function to what mythical conveyance in Arabic mythology?
Flying carpets.
Can you be more specific?
The magic carpet.
Correct for 2. Toss-up, circles. What adjective describes a circle that is elongated in one dimension?
Elliptical.
Incorrect.
Oblong.
Correct for 5. Bonus, color. Name any color that is not chromatic.
White.
Correct for 2. Toss-up, half-life. After taking a 100 milligram dose of an intravenous drug with a half-life of 20 minutes, how many milligrams of that drug remains in the body 1 hour later?
$12.5 milligrams.
Correct for 5. Bonus, space fantasy. What mammals are missing twice in this line from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Man had always assumed that he was more intelligent than blank because he had achieved so much like the wheel, New York, and wars, whilst all the blank had ever done was muck about in the water having a good time.
Fish.
Incorrect. Dolphins. Toss-up. A weighty problem. You put one brick on one side of a double pan balance scale and 3/4 of the brick plus a 3/4 pound weight on the other side. If the pan's balanced, what?
Three.
Can you be more specific?
3 pounds.
Correct for 5. Bonus, potential energy. 1 BTU is capable of 778 foot-pounds of work. If there are 18,900 BTUs in 1 pound of aviation fuel, how many foot-pounds of potential energy are in 1 pound of this fuel?
$24.29.
Incorrect. It's 14,704,000. Toss-up, ecology. What term for the point of greatest intensity in a novel also indicates?
Climax.
Correct. 5. Bonus, police. These are among the police organizations in what European country? Arma di Carabinieri, Polizia di Stato, Guardia di Finanza, Loisia Militare.
Italy.
Toss-up, deficiency diseases. During the 7 Years' War, the British Navy enlisted 184,899 men. Of those, about 1,500 of them were killed in action, while nearly 134,000 died from disease. What vitamin C deficiency disease?
Scurvy.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Monarchs. What monarch held the throne when these people and others served as prime ministers? Anthony Eden, Harold Macmillan, Tony Blair, David Cameron, Theresa May.
Queen Elizabeth II.
Correct for 2. Toss-up. Art history. What objects associated with the holiday celebrated in late March or early April were?
Easter.
Incorrect. What objects associated with a holiday celebrated in late March or early April were, under the supervision of Carl Fabergé, turned into extraordinary pieces of art for Russian czars?
Eggs.
Correct for 5. Bonus. How many years are there in 1/4 millennium?
250 years.
Correct for 2. Toss-up. The moon. What is the atmospheric pressure on the moon?
0.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Earthquakes. To the nearest whole number, an earthquake that measures a 7.1 magnitude is how much stronger than a 6.4 magnitude?
7 times.
Incorrect. It's 10. Toss-up. Currencies. What name is shared by the currencies of Egypt, Lebanon?
Pound.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Prisms. How many faces does a parallelepiped have?
$12.
Incorrect. It's 6. Toss-up. Technology history. What did these people design and construct? Glenn Curtiss, Hugo Junkers, Samuel Langley, Thomas Sopwith, Gustav
Planes.
Can you be more specific?
Airplanes.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Vital signs. Which of the 4 primary vital signs is abbreviated as BT?
Blood type.
Incorrect. It's body temperature. Toss-up. Novels. What science fiction novel by Kurt Vonnegut was named for a game? What science fiction novel by Kurt Vonnegut was named for a game done with fingers and string?
Cat's Cradle.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Paintings. These paintings illustrate what kind of scapes? Day of anvils, approaching storm, billows, thunderhead at sunset.
Stormscapes.
Incorrect. Cloudscapes. Toss-up. Ancient architecture. Archaeologically speaking, what is the general shape of a henge?
Cuboid.
Incorrect.
Semicircle.
Incorrect. It's circular. Toss-up. Anatomy. And anatomically speaking, these are types of what? Cartilaginous. Adipose.
Tissue.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Literary techniques. Since Black Beauty is in the form of an autobiographical novel, in the words of the protagonist, what ism is illustrated throughout?
Anthropomorphism.
Correct for 2. Toss-up. The solar system. The name for the Roman goddess of agriculture is also that of a heavenly body.
Ceres,
Incorrect. The name for the Roman goddess of agriculture is also that of a heavenly body between the orbits of what two planets?
Mars and Jupiter.
Incorrect. Mars and Saturn. Toss-up. Legendary hybrids. The pegacorn is a hybrid of what two mythical creatures?
Pegasus and Unicorn.
Correct. For 5. Bonus. Skin. Which layer of the skin lies above the subcutaneous tissue and below the epidermis? Incorrect. The dermis. Toss-up. Agriculture. Monoculture. The growing of the same crop in the same place for many years depletes.
desertification,
Incorrect. Monoculture. The growing of the same crop in the same place for many years depletes the soil of certain nutrients. What agricultural process avoids this problem by growing dissimilar crops on the same ground in sequenced years?
Crop rotation.
Correct. For 5. Bonus. Fluids. What are the circular movements in fluids called?
Whirlpools.
Incorrect. Eddies. Greetings. Toss-up. Greetings. Complete this greeting that originated in the Mandarin language. Long time.
No seat.
Correct. For 5. Bonus. Interest. With simple interest, $50,000 invested at 2% annually will yield $10,000 in 10 years. With what other interest setup would that same $50,000 invested at 2% yield over $11,000 in the same time period?
Compound.
Be more specific?
Compound interest.
Correct. Toss-up. Number anagrams. What hyphenated word for a number is an anagram for the phrase over 50?
can you repeat the question, please?
What hyphenated word for a number is an anagram for the phrase over 50?
Integer,
Incorrect. It's 45. Toss-up. Forests. On the coast of the Bay of Bengal is the Sundarbans, the world's largest forest of what kind? Forests. On the coast of the Bay of Bengal is the Sundarbans, the world's largest forest with what kind of trees with stilt-like roots and stems?
mangroves,
Correct. For 5. Bonus. Alternates. What 3 words can be made by taking every third letter from the word lacerated?
let our cat,
That's incorrect. It's let arcad. Toss-up. Science abbreviations. For what does the abbreviation stand in this passage? Its speed through glass or air is less than c.
The speed of light.
Correct. Bonus. Biological prefixes. What does the prefix mean in terms such as homeomorphous, homeothermous, and homeostasis?
Equal.
Can you be more specific?
Balanced.
That's incorrect. Same.
Challenge.
Okay. Time. Pause time. Let's continue. Toss-up. Paleontology. In 2019, researchers announced that they had discovered perfectly preserved skeletal remains of tiny animals trapped under 3,500 In 2019, researchers announced they had discovered perfectly preserved skeletal remains of tiny animals trapped under 3,500 feet of ice on what continent?
Antarctica.
Correct. 5. Bonus. Horsepower. If an airplane engine consumes a half-pound of fuel per horsepower and it is producing 200 horsepower to the nearest tenth, how many pounds of fuel is it consuming per second?
1.7.
Correct. For 2. Toss-up. Earth's lands. Half of Earth's land surface is accounted for by the world's 7 largest countries, including Brazil, Argentina, Russia, Canada, the USA, China, and what other?
Australia.
Correct. 5. Bonus. Figurative language. What figure of speech is illustrated in this line? Giving money and power to the government is like giving whiskey and car keys to teenage boys.
Simile.
Correct. For 2. Toss-up. Atmospheric temperature. Normally, air temperatures diminish as altitude increases. Exceptions to this are called what?
Irregularities.
Correct. Inversions. Toss-up. Latitude. What tropic runs through southern Egypt?
Capricorn.
That is incorrect.
Tropic of Cancer.
Correct. For 5. Bonus. Forces. A train is speeding along when it hits a stalled water truck at a crossing. What force causes the train passengers to be thrown forward just after the impact?
Inertia.
Correct. For 2. Toss-up. Technology grabs. At the end of World War II, what 2 countries ended up with most...
The Soviet Union and the United States of America.
Correct. For 5. Bonus. Fiction. These are examples of what kind of fictional works? The Phantom Tollbooth, The Color of Magic, The Book of Three, Dragonflight, A Wizard of Earthsea, Aragon, The Wind in the Willows.
Fantasy.
Correct. For 2. Toss-up. Energy. Emitted from the sun, what discrete particles with 0 mass?
Photons.
Correct. For 5. Bonus. Name the line of a right triangle that is always opposite the 90-degree angle.
Hypotenuse.
Correct. For 2. Toss-up. Figures of speech. What figure of speech is used in these tongue twisters? Black bug bit a big black bear.
Alliteration.
Correct. For 5. Bonus. Light. What phenomenon related to bent light makes eyeglasses, cameras, binoculars, microscopes, and eyes work?
Reflection.
That is incorrect. It's the refraction. Toss-up. Wordy proverbs. How is this proverb traditionally stated? There is illumination at the termination
There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Correct for 5. Bonus, European borders. What country borders the Baltic Sea, the Gulf of Bothnia, the Gulf of Finland, as well as Sweden, Norway, and Russia?
Denmark.
That is incorrect. Finland. Toss-up, parallel structure. Complete this line by Lao Tzu. Those who are intelligent are not ideologues. Those who are...
Ideologues are not intelligent.
Correct. Bonus, storms. What kind of storms were these? Camille in 1969, Andrew in 1992, Katrina in 2005, Harvey in 2017.
Hurricanes.
Correct for 2. Toss-up, nicknames. These were nicknames for what communist revolutionary leader of a Caribbean island?
Fidel Castro.
Correct for 5. Bonus, wordplay. What form of wordplay is illustrated in this line? A Santa spit taboo bat tips at NASA.
Consonants.
Incorrect. Palindrome. Toss-up, births. The lowest birth rate of any country in the world is in what independent...
Vatican City.
Correct. 5. Bonus, Japan. What are the 2 traditional national colors of Japan?
Red and white.
Correct for 2. Toss-up, infinitives. While retaining its meaning, replace the infinitive in this sentence with a preposition. I'm going to the office.
Over.
Incorrect. While retaining its meaning, replace the infinitive in this sentence with a preposition. I'm going to the office to get my briefcase.
I am heading to the office to get my briefcase.
That is incorrect. I'm going to the office for my briefcase. Toss-up, communication. Upon simply picking up the receiver on the special phone, the U.S. President may contact the Russian President immediately. This is called what kind of line?
Hotline.
Correct for 5. Bonus, regions. What region of Northern Europe has the greatest abundance of fjords?
Scandinavia.
Correct for 2. Toss-up, river cities. These are large cities adjacent to what river? Koblenz, Mainz, Mannheim.
The Rhine.
Correct. Bonus, breathing. A rapid reduction in carbon dioxide in your body can result from abnormally fast or deep respiration called what?
Hyperventilation.
Correct for 2. Toss-up, Guatemala. What Mesoamerican Indian people ruled Guatemala?
The Incas.
Incorrect. What Mesoamerican Indian people ruled Guatemala until around 1000 AD? Incorrect. Maya. Toss-up, investment. How many dollars invested at 8.25% results in an annual return of $2,475?
$28,285.
It's incorrect.
Please repeat the question.
On your own time, how many dollars invested at 8.25% results in an annual return of $2,475? It's $30,000. Toss-up, historic poems.
Bazinga.
So who are your teammates? Introduce them.
Here we have Senor Pranadav Prakash. Very lovely bloke. This is Efe Axel Tajetun. That's a really stupid name. This is Ira. He doesn't get his last name to be pronounced. He knows what he did. And, that's pretty much everything.
Yeah, so we're ABAA, obviously. So I'm Adnan, I'm a senior. This is Rishit, he's also a senior. That's Parth, he's a senior. That's Artem, he is not a senior.
Okay, so just a reminder again, now that everybody's moved, all phones should be on silent, restrained from making any noise until after the round. And can we test your buzzers just to be sure nothing came loose? Excellent. And your spokesperson? And your buzzers, please? Okay. All right, scorers ready? Timekeepers ready? All right, good luck, everybody. Toss-up, rhetorical devices. What rhetorical device is illustrated in this line? Arthritis medication often comes with a cap that old people can't get off because of their arthritis.
Irony.
Correct for 5. Bonus, circles. What is the radius of a circle with its center at parentheses 4, 5 parentheses that is tangent to the y-axis?
Four.
Correct for 2. Toss-up, water afar. In 2019, NASA scientists announced they had found water and organic molecules on the surface of Ultima.
Mars.
Incorrect. In 2019, NASA scientists announced they had found water and organic molecules on the surface of Ultima Thule, an object in what distant donut-shaped ring beyond the orbit of Neptune known as a major source of comets?
The Kuiper Belt.
Correct for 5. Bonus, geologic relationships. An igneous dike that passes through previously deposited layers of sedimentary rock illustrates the geologic law developed by James Hutton about what kind of relationships?
Inclusive.
Incorrect, cross-cutting relationships. Toss-up, Kipling. Rudyard Kipling's poem, The White Man's Burden, is about a war involving the United States and what Pacific...
Hawaii.
Incorrect. Rudyard Kipling's poem, The White Man's Burden, is about a war involving the United States and what Pacific archipelagic nation?
Cuba.
Incorrect. Philippines. Toss-up, reasoning. Logically speaking, this is what kind of statement? If we do not advocate a love of country to our children and the generations to come,
Conditional.
correct for 5. Bonus, over-the-counter medications. Antihistamines help with colds and antidotes help with poisons. What similarly named medications help with athlete's foot?
Antifungals.
Correct for 2. Toss-up, law. What is the Latin equivalent of these phrases? Tit for tat, a favor for a favor, something for something.
Totalis.
Incorrect?
Quid pro quo.
Correct for 5. Bonus, triangles. In any triangle, the centroid, circumcenter, and the orthocenter always lie on a straight line, sounding like the name of a straight edge used for measuring lengths and in honor of a Swiss mathematician noted for his work in calculus. What is the name of that line?
Leibniz.
Incorrect. Euler line. Toss-up. Starfish. What is the term for the spontaneous casting off of a limb by a starfish?
Molting.
Incorrect.
Please repeat.
On your time, what is the term for the spontaneous casting off of a limb by a starfish?
Self-amputation.
Incorrect. Autonomy. Toss-up. Causation. Complete this Latin phrase that essentially means after, therefore, because of.
Vici.
Incorrect. Complete this Latin phrase that essentially means after, therefore, because of. Post hoc, ergo propter.
Hawk.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Poetry. Name the poetic meter used in these lines. If music be the food of love, play on. Give me excess of it, that surfeiting the appetite may sicken and so die. That strain again, it had a dying fall.
Iambic pentameter.
Incorrect, just pentameter. Toss-up. Cubes. 0.216 is the cube of what fraction?
One over 8.
Incorrect.
3/5.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Africa history. The former names of Zambia and Zimbabwe came from the name of what former prime minister of the Cape Colony?
Zayed.
Excuse me?
Zayed.
Incorrect. Cecil Rhodes. Toss-up. River cities. What Sudanese city is at the confluence?
Khartoum.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Age problems. Quiet please. 8 years ago, Ron was 8 times as old as Johnny. Today, their ages add up to 52. How old is Ron?
$36.
Incorrect. 40. Toss-up. China history. The British gave the name boxers to a secret group in China known also as the Society of Righteous and Harmonious what?
Tigers.
Incorrect.
Fists.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Ocean sediments. Depending on their origins, most marine sediments may be terrigenous, biogenous, or hydrogenous. What corresponding adjective indicates sediments that have come from meteorites and dust from deep space?
Cosmogenous.
Correct for 2. Toss-up. Psychology. Psychologists say that the 5 stages of what are denial?
Grief.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Faraway places. What term that originally was the name of a 14th century major trading city in Mali has come to mean an exotic distant land?
Shangri-La.
Incorrect. Timbuktu. Toss-up. Polygon angles. What is the interior degree sum of a polygon with 25 sides?
4140
Can you be more specific?
degrees.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Mediterranean geology. 500 million years ago, the area of Crete was submerged in what ancient sea of the Mesozoic era between the continents of Gondwana and Laurasia?
The agency.
Incorrect. Tethys Sea. Toss-up. Recent Asian geography. In 2019, the parliament of what country reconstituted Ladakh as a...
India.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Denominators. Rationalize the denominator of 4 divided by square root of 6.
Three.
Incorrect. 2 parentheses square root of 6 parentheses over 3. Toss-up. Impulse. If a 5 Newton force acts on brick for 4 seconds, how much...
I refer to Axon.
Correct for 5. Bonus, ice. What is the two-word term for a rugged, irregular wall of broken ice buckled upward by the squeezing of one floe against another?
Wall.
Incorrect. Pressure ridge. Toss-up. Windows. Name the type of stained glass windows in the Chartreux.
Rose.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Ancient Greece. The 4 major ethnic groups among the Hellenes of classical Greece were the Aeolians, Archeans, the Ionians, and what other?
Spartans.
Incorrect. Dorians. Toss-up. Organic chemistry. Casein, myosin, gelatin, keratin, and albumin are
Proteins.
correct for 5. Bonus, parodies. This is a parody of a line from what Shakespearean play? All the world's a stage, and most of us are desperately unrehearsed.
Hamlet.
Incorrect. As you like it. Toss-up. Parts of speech. In the sentence, focus on what's right in your world instead of what's wrong, the word instead is what part of speech?
Modifier.
Incorrect.
A conjunction.
Incorrect. Adverb. Toss-up. The diaphragm. Name any of the 3 anatomical tubes that...
Esophagus.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Military officials. What is the title of a principal judicial officer for a military branch of the armed forces?
Marshal.
Incorrect. Judge advocate or judge advocate general. Toss-up. Shared names. What name for the free-swimming sexual stage in the life cycle?
Tadpole.
Incorrect. What name for the free-swimming sexual stage in the life cycle of a jellyfish is also that of a Greek mythical female monster with snake-entwined hair slain by Perseus?
Medusa.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Olympics. What are the 3 throwing events in the Olympic decathlon?
Javelin, shot put, and discus.
Correct for 2. Toss-up. Acceleration. The Lone Ranger dropped a silver bullet from a high bridge. If it takes 15 seconds to reach the water, to the nearest whole number in meters per second, what was its velocity?
I refer to axle.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Borrowed words. These words came into English from what language? Tycoon, ginkgo, rickshaw, shogun.
Japanese.
Correct for 2. Toss-up. Entrepreneurs. Aristotle, Socrates, Onassis, the eventual husband of Jacqueline Kennedy, made his fortune in what industry?
The automobile industry.
Incorrect.
Just repeat.
On your time, Aristotle, Socrates, Onassis, the eventual husband of Jacqueline Kennedy, made his fortune in what industry?
Oil.
Incorrect. Shipping. Toss-up. CLORPT stands for the 5 factors that influence what type of soil?
Fertility.
Sorry.
Fertility.
Incorrect. CLORPT stands for the 5 factors that influence what type of soil forms. These letters stand for climate, organisms, relief, parent material, and what else?
Temperature.
Incorrect. Time. Toss-up. Mideast history. The 1917 letter to Lord Rothschild declaring that Great Britain favored the establishment of a national...
Israel.
Incorrect. The 1917 letter to Lord Rothschild declaring that Great Britain favored the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine was written by British Foreign Secretary Arthur who?
Goldberg.
Incorrect. Balfour. Toss-up. Evolution. What broad category of evolution relates to the similarities in these examples? Squid and human eyes.
Analogous.
Incorrect. What broad category of evolution relates to the similarities in these examples? Squid and human eyes, opposable thumbs in pandas and primates, echolocation in bats and dolphins, fingerprints in humans and koalas.
Homologous.
Incorrect. Convergent evolution. Toss-up. Candle making. In the 19th century, people began making candles out of what substance?
Wax.
Incorrect. In the 19th century, people began making candles out of what substance from what waxy, white, solid hydrocarbon alkane derived from oil?
Blubber.
Incorrect. Paraffin. Toss-up. If f of x equals 3 minus 5x minus 2x squared, what is f of 0? Maya, please.
3.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Physics limericks. What letter completes this limerick? Newton said as he gazed off afar, from here to the most distant star, these wondrous ellipses and solar eclipses all come from a 1 over...
R.
Correct for 2. Toss-up. Canines. What breed of dog is named for the mountain range in South...
Labrador.
Incorrect. What breed of dog is named for the mountain range in southwest Europe that extends from the Bay of Biscay to the Mediterranean?
Pyrenees.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Geologic time. The name for what geologic era was derived from a Latin word meaning young, recent, or fresh?
Primeval.
Incorrect. Cenozoic era. Toss-up. Elements. On the periodic table, what is the collective name for the 15 lanthanides? Incorrect. On the periodic table, what is the collective name for the 15 lanthanides plus scandium and yttrium?
Metalloids.
Incorrect. Rare earth elements. Toss-up. Marlowe. This verse is from what kind of poem by Christopher Marlowe? And we will sit upon the rocks, seeing the shepherds feed their flocks, by shallow rivers to whose falls melodious birds sing madrigals.
Couplet.
Incorrect.
Triplet.
Incorrect. A pastoral poem. Toss-up. Organs. What organ of the lymphatic system is anterior to the ascending...
Pancreas.
Incorrect. What organ of the lymphatic system is anterior to the ascending aorta and posterior to the sternum?
Thyroid.
Incorrect. Thymus. Toss-up. Journalism. The journalist Dith Pran coined what phrase in relation to atrocities perpetrated by the Khmer Rouge in the...
Genocide.
Incorrect. The journalist Dith Pran coined what phrase in relation to atrocities perpetrated by the Khmer Rouge in the 1970s?
Ethnic cleansing.
Incorrect. Killing fields. Toss-up. Spinal nerves. Since there are 12 thoracic,
5 lumbar, 5 sacral, and 1 coccygeal pairs of spinal nerves, how many cervical pairs are there?
I refer to axle.
Incorrect. Incorrect. 8. Toss-up, Mongolian history. Shanggu was the capital of Kublai Khan's Yuan.
The Yuan dynasty.
Incorrect. Shanggu was the capital of Kublai Khan's Yuan dynasty. Thanks to a poem by Samuel Coleridge, by what name is Shangdu more widely known?
Shanghai.
No, Xanadu. Toss-up, injuries. What kind of toma is a collection of blood outside of blood?
Hematoma.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Editing. What is the term for the censoring or obscuring part of a text for legal or security purposes?
Redaction.
Correct for 2. Toss-up, seaside capitals. Baku, the capital of Azerbaijan.
Caspian Sea.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Planets. Which planet has the most eccentric orbit in our solar system?
Neptune.
Incorrect. Mercury. Toss-up, gas etymology. The name for what colorless, pungent gas can be traced back to one of the most powerful gods in...
Hydrogen.
Incorrect. The name for what colorless, pungent gas can be traced back to one of the most powerful gods in ancient Egypt?
Radon.
Incorrect. Ammonia from Amun, Amun, Aman. Toss-up, wilderness areas. The Skeleton Coast National Park, spanning more than 300 miles and covering some 6,500 square miles, is located on the west coast of what?
The Atlantic Ocean.
Incorrect. The Skeleton Coast National Park, spanning more than 300 miles and covering some 6,500 square miles, is located on the west coast of what African country?
Morocco.
Incorrect. Namibia. Toss-up. Offenses. Libel and what other offense are types of
Slander.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Biological processes. Name the process by which an early metazoan embryo takes on a cap or sac shape with walls of 2 layers of cells surrounding a cavity.
Specialization.
Incorrect. Gastrulation. Toss-up. Chemical reactions. Name the redox reaction produced by passing electric current.
Electrolysis.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Songs. How are these solo vocal pieces collectively known? Ponghi Amor from La Nozze di Figaro, Un di Felice from La Traviata, Flower Song from Carmen, Ave Maria from Otello, Musetta's Waltz from La Boheme.
Soliloquy.
Incorrect. Arias. Toss-up. Government policies. When they were persecuted in their own countries, René Descartes fled to the Netherlands, Thomas Hobbes to France, and Voltaire...
Enlightenment thinkers.
Incorrect. When they were persecuted in their own countries, René Descartes fled to the Netherlands, Thomas Hobbes to France, and Voltaire to England. Their new countries offered them sanctuary through what legal right that has been recognized since ancient times?
Asylum.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Paralysis. What kind of plegia was suffered by these people? Teddy Pendergrass, Curtis Mayfield, Roy Campanella, Mike Utley, Stephen Hawking, Christopher Reeve.
Quadriplegia.
Correct for 2. Toss-up, quadrilaterals. What quadrilateral is formed by connecting these points? 2610, 1520, 5120, 4510.
Rectangle.
Incorrect.
A trapezium.
Incorrect. Trapezoid. Toss-up, Asian history. By the beginning of the 15th century, pause the time, please. Okay, sorry, we're going to keep going. By the beginning of the 15th century, his military campaigns had caused the deaths of perhaps as many as 17 million people while overrunning much of Persia, Turkey.
Genghis Khan.
Incorrect. By the beginning of the 15th century, his military campaigns had caused the deaths of perhaps as many as 17 million people while overrunning much of Persia, Turkey, Russia, and India. Name this Mongolian conqueror who got his start in Samarkand.
I said that.
Two more.
Incorrect. Tamerlane. Toss-up sequences. What is the nth term in this sequence? 3, 9, 27.
Three to the power of X.
Correct for 5. Bonus. Acids. What aqua regia is a mixture of hydrochloric acid?
Hydrochloric acid.